Welcome to the Tackle Pulse podcast, your place for sci-fi news, rumour and debate. And today I'm going to be talking about Stargate because I'm hearing the rumour that Alex Kurtzman and his team over at Secret Hideout have been pitching more shows to Skydance, the new owners of Paramount. And they've not all gone very well. Let's get into it.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
So I told you actually that 3 shows a couple of weeks ago had been pitched, and even though none of them were directly rejected, I was hearing rumours that they were not exactly filling the new executives with excitement. Apparently, 2 of those shows are going to get pitched again, that basically executives fed back a few of their concerns, and that basically Skydance have gone away and had a think, and in the next few weeks they will pitch again. Since then I spoke to you about that, they have pitched 2 more shows. Now, the source I'm speaking to wasn't actually in the room and only knows bits and bobs about basically what those shows are. Tawny Newsom's comedy show, her work-based comedy, apparently has been pitched now and actually got a little bit of excitement going. I'm actually going to score this currently 4-1 to, against Secret Hideout. They seem to have actually had one show pitched that they actually seem to quite like. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll get made, but at least it tickled their fancy a little bit. Another show, again, was animated. Apparently that will have characters voiced, including, it will have Janeway. I'm actually told it might have Kirk in it, voiced by William Shatner. I don't quite know how that works, but apparently that's going to be in one show, and even Cisco could appear in that. Now, I'm not quite sure how Cisco returning works, or Kirk. I mean, Cisco, there was a comic book series where Cisco returned from the wormhole and the ancestors, and he basically had godlike powers. I didn't actually read the whole comic, but I remember reading a little bit about it at the time, and it actually sounded really interesting. Whether they would do something like that, I don't know. But in an animated series, they can basically do whatever the hell they like. But apparently it wasn't taken very well by the executives anyway. Now, I happen to know that Secret Hideout are supposedly working on a version, at least, of Terry Metallis's Legacy series, but they haven't got very far with it, and apparently they can't get Jerry Ryan to agree anyway, and if Seven of Nine doesn't return, it's not going to happen. She is standing very firm, apparently, on her idea that she wants Terry Metallis. She wants Terry Metallis to do this, and without Terry Metallis, it's not Legacy, so it ain't happening. I'm being told again, though, that Skydance over at Paramount will get Terry Metallis to come back once he's completed projects with Disney, and that actually Terry Metallis would love to do it with some reassurances from Paramount. Basically, there were certain things he was not massively happy about, apparently, over at Secret Hideout, and he would like those resolved. I suspect it's more creative control, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of rumours swirling around about these pitches because basically, if you weren't in the room, you don't necessarily know what was said. And again, my sources aren't top executives. I speak to a couple of producers here and there and a couple of actors here and there. But generally speaking, I speak to people in the legal department, in HR. I speak to those guys, and information does dribble down, but it doesn't tend to about this sort of thing. I actually remember hearing that J.J. Abrams had pitched a Stargate show, something that was actually confirmed later by other insiders. I happened to find out that, and I can tell you this now because the person no longer works there, but I spoke to the person that printed out the pitch documents. So, I mean, literally, they put these little packs together, they, throw them around to the executives they can flick through. I spoke to the person that printed them off. So, that is the kind of way I get to hear things. From what I do understand, though, is 2 animated shows have been pitched and 3 live action shows. One of those animated pitches is from the guy that brought us Prodigy. Now, apparently that has only been pitched in a very limited way because it's still in development. They still don't quite know how that would work, but it's more of a, oh, we're doing this, it's the guy from Prodigy. This is his rough idea. We'd love to pitch it in the future, sort of thing. So, I'm hearing there is a 6th show that is still waiting to be pitched. I don't know what that will be, but apparently at least one of these live action shows does follow up from Picard. Is not Legacy, but is within that time frame. So, what does this mean for Secret Hideout, that at least 4 of these shows have not really gone down well? Obviously, like you guys know, and I've been talking about for a while now, Skydance need to be convinced that Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout are the right team to take Star Trek forwards. In lots of ways, according to sources, again, partly rumour, but partly based on people actually in the room, it does seem that Skydance would actually really like to bring Star Trek in-house, and that the more they get pitched things that they're just not on board with. I hear one was actually literally like laughed out of the room. It was just stupid, and was really... It went as far as one person I spoke to said it just wasn't Star Trek, and they didn't even apparently let them get through the entire pitch. Again, rumours, but there's no smoke without fire, and you only hear the same story from so many different people until you start thinking it must be true. I just think that moving forwards, if they don't start coming up with something a little bit more interesting, or if basically they don't go away and with the notes from the executives over at Skydance and really come back with something more like what they're thinking, I just don't know if Secret Hideout are doing enough to earn that spot to develop new TV shows. Now, I will say here, though, as well, that unfortunately they've already done a lot of harm towards actually whether they deserve a new TV show or not. And I would actually argue that even the most hardened Star Trek fan, Kurtzman fan, would have to admit that some of the Star Trek we've had in the last few years has been crap. I'm not even talking about Section 31. A lot of Discovery was not good. Strange New Worlds Season 3 was not good. It wasn't offensive, but it wasn't good. Obviously, the musical was offensive. Somebody in the comments will say that, I love the musical. A lot of us didn't. A lot of us just go look at that and go, look, okay, that's fine. Do this Christmas special. But it's not Star Trek. We're getting a Piggin' Muppets episode. That, again, should not be within the first, within the 10 episodes. Do it as a special. But they won't, because I think they hate Star Trek fans. It's the only thing I can think of. Flip side of that, if you're not a Kurtzman fan, to be honest with you, every rumour I'm hearing is only good news. It seems that they are pitching, that they are trying to convince Skydance, and they're not doing a very good job. It does seem that the more ideas they present, the more convinced the Skydance Paramount executives are that they're not the right people to move forward with Star Trek. Another thing I'm hearing a lot is that actually the budget for Star Trek will be much lower in the future. That they will no longer be getting 8, 9, 10, 11 million pounds an episode like they have been. They will be getting more like $5 million an episode. Now that seems ridiculous, but actually The Expanse was done for $4 to $5 million. I know that was a few years ago now, but even if you gave them 6, that would be roughly equivalent. But actually, Foundation, it's done for about $5 million an episode, and whether you like that show or not, you'd have to admit, it's beautifully made. So, I'm not sure again that Secret Hideout can do that. I'm not sure they have the right mentality to make shows on a shoestring and make them good. Maybe they need to hire J. Michael Straczynski. Hey, he came up with the idea for Deep Space Nine, kind of, and he knows how to do this sort of thing. So you need to bring in somebody that knows how to put every dollar on the screen. But one way of doing that is actually getting rid of Secret Hideout that needs to create profit and actually just making it CBS Studios without a third party that you're paying. That would save money immediately. Maybe do that. So guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. Is the fact that the pitches keep going on and keep being frowned upon a problem? And I, again, want to reiterate, none of these have been thrown out. None of them apparently is a no. They've just sent them back with notes. But that's still not a good sign. Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and get to see a lot of these videos before everybody else. Go check that out. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.